I want to dig down on the really big decision you made in your career. I mean, if you recognize Joe, it's probably because he was on TVO Kids every year for years and years, but at some point you didn't want to do it anymore. And I knew you around this time.
Right.
You were doing some corporate gigs, HMV, Universal Music, our client, shout out Matthew Ives.
There you go. That's right.
You let us all know you were leaving, probably in the middle, and we're all going, what?
Yeah.
Like, what were you thinking at that time?
25 years next
Big
year.
decision.
A gigantic one.
Right.
And, so when at that time, my thought was, do you want to get better? How do you improve?
Right.
I'm hosting TVO Kids and love it and absolutely love doing the show. But if I want to get better, if I want to become a better host, if I want to become a better performer, if I want to become a better, on-air entity, right? Do you need to do other things? Do you need to try other things with other people? And generally in this industry, you can be doing one thing and you can be as good as you can possibly be at that, but can you host another show? Can I get another gig?
A different kind of show.
Right. And one of the things, and I've always said this, I love children's television. I would do another children's television show again and have. Nothing against the genre. A lot of times people, they treat children's television like it's a stepping stone, right? Like I'll do this for a while until I get a real television show. And I've never believed that, Jim. And it's always bothered me when people have thought that about children's television. It's a real signal. It's a real program. There's real writers and directors and people that are working on it to produce it for an audience.
Well, you had fame, fortune, you had benefits. It was a full-time job?
Yes. Yep. Full-time. Full-time. I was there. I was entrenched. And I was fortunate. People liked me, and I liked the people there. It was fantastic.
You arguably were the face of the network at a certain point, you could have been the face. I think maybe on your way out, they might have told you that, right? Like, Joe, stay. Like we could,
or maybe.
And I know you've been back.
But, yeah.
So you didn't burn any bridges. So
no. I mean, everything was great, and they understood that I wanted to try different things, and at the time they were just, in order to try those different things, you couldn't be live every day on a television station.
Did you save some money?
Yes,
you did.
Always budgeted. Okay. Budgeting, job 1, 2, and 3. So I always tucked money away. Always had an FU fund. I remember somebody telling me, make sure you have an FU fund. If something bad happens, where you can say FU and you can go off and you don't have to worry about rent or a mortgage.
So you've never regretted it?
Leaving, no.
Never, that decision, you've never thought back, I made a mistake.
Never looked back and went, ugh. Now, take me with a grain of salt. I'm not one, I don't play the regret game. I'm not one to look back and go, why did I?
Like a very positive person. So.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm also a realistic one. So, I mean, if it was like, that might not have been the best. And, and were there times that maybe, maybe a little tight? Sure. But I'm good at budgeting. It doesn't mean that budgeting is fun. It doesn't mean that, you always want to be like, oh man, I better keep this here just in case I don't work for a little while here, or it might be a little bit of time until this gig or whatever it might be. But for the time and for what I wanted to do, and, also because I know what I've accomplished since then, no regrets, Jim, about leaving the show.
Okay.
The only thing that makes me sad is when is viewers. Because, of course, it's family viewing. So I kept all the goodbye mail that I got when I retired from the show. We did 4 weeks where people could send in goodbye mail. My goal was always to reach out and thank all of the kids who had sent me mail for their letters. And then work gets in the way, life gets in the way, you start doing stuff. I had actually started a secret group on Facebook. And what I did was that, I was able to track viewers down through their mail. If your name was John Smith, there's so many John Smiths, I can't find you. But
you're talking about years later.
This is years later. This was 2010 when I started this. So this was
So
a
I've seen,
decade
so
later.
you're talking about doing birthday wishes and stuff?
I started sort of doing.
You do the same kind of birthday wishes you used to do on the show.
Yes.
Like you got Photoshop at home or something.
Yeah, like it grew into that. It started with me
is
scanning
hilarious.
their letters,
Yes.
and I'd say, "Hey, you sent me this letter when I left TVO Kids. I just want to let you know I was doing okay." And oh my gosh, I can't believe it,
Like
Joe.
10 years, literally 10
literally
years
10
later.
years. This was
So
the
they might have
summer
been
of 2010.
8 or 11, and now they're 22 or
yep.
whatever.
So they're all just leaving high schools, just starting university.
That'd be so strange.
Some of them were just like like in
So you sleuthed them on the internet and found them.
tracked them
somehow.
down, and this group it ended up being like a few hundred people. I always call them kids. It bothers them when I call them kids. It's like, Joe, we're not kids anymore. Like, I'm 22.
If
and
you were a
I'm doing
Taylor
this.
Swift fan, they're called Swifties.
Swifties. All right.
But you're not a Taylor Swift fan. So
I'm not. So I just call them the TVO kids. I just
Yes.
I call them the TVO Kids alumni.